Welcome back to a new video. My name is Chinye, and today we're going to speak about why African descendants who were born in Europe and further want to come back to Africa. I feel like you see more and more people trying to return or actually returning. It's really a movement that is going on for the past few years and will even increase more. I am also an African descendant who was born in the Netherlands, and I'm also returning back to Africa. Click on the subscribe button if you want to follow my journey. When I speak to Africans born in Africa, they oftentimes do not understand why in the world we want to come back. And it makes sense because they have been born and raised there. And they have seen all the things, all the developments in Africa. And they have seen all the struggles and the trials and tribulations that came with it. So they are wondering, why would you want to come to a country where we are fighting to survive? I also notice that other way around, we as diaspora not always understand why Africans are wanting to leave and go to Europe, because it's the same reason. We have had struggles and trials and tribulations in Europe, and we don't understand why they would want to come there. So let's try to make sense of it in this video. I will speak today from the side of the diaspora. Why do we want to return to Africa? I want to speak about identity and roots. I want to speak about purpose and impact. I want to speak about social inclusion, about opportunities and community. Let's start with identity and belonging. Okay, imagine being born in a country where majority of the people don't look like you. Being born in a country that is not designed for you to win. You are born into a system where already you have to work harder and smarter to fit in and to become successful. When I say this, it already feels stressful. You are black in a country full of white people. This shouldn't have to be a problem, but it is a problem. When you grow up, when you are a small child, your parents protect you from a part of it, but there's some part of it that they cannot protect you from. Because you get into the school system, you have to deal with teachers, with other students, and you already see that things are not being treated equally. Even though we speak the language, we know the culture of the country where we're from, we have the passport and all the documentations, there is not 100% belonging there. When you are black in a white country, it is more difficult to get a good sense of education and actually teachers that want to help you. If they don't give you chances in the education system to actually fulfill your potential, then obviously you're not going to get a high degree diploma, and then obviously you're not going to get a high degree job. So these are all correlated. So if it already starts since you are little, then also when you finish school, you get more issues to come there. And that impacts things like your salary, but also your mental. Because if you know you are smart, but people keep saying you are not, or like putting you in a lower class with people who are less smart than you, eventually you will start to believe it. If I look at my own education, I studied at the university in Amsterdam. I have 2 university degrees. Personally, I don't care about the degree and the education because I don't see the education system as a very functional tool that's there to support us. But even though I don't put weight onto that, I do know what it's like to be in those schooling systems. So it did give me the wisdom and the knowledge to actually compare the treatments everywhere and see what is happening. I saw a post recently with a guy saying that he is from Nigeria and he used to study in the Netherlands, and his parents sent him to the UK. And a lot of people asked him, like, why didn't you stay in the Netherlands? And he said it's because of the schooling system. He said because of the color of our skin, they oftentimes just put us in class with people who are mentally impaired, even though we are not mentally impaired. They just do it because of institutionalized thinking, because of prejudgments, prejudice, when you already have notions about someone without actually looking as to who they are, just because of how they look, their skin color, things like that. And there were so many people in the comments. It was a viral post. So many who agreed with that and had stories of their own, or people that they knew that were black that were just not helped in that school system at all. And all of this just continues. It rolls over into housing, like getting a good, proper house. Because what do you need for that? Well, you need someone to accept you, but also you need documents, papers, good salary, good income. And we already spoke about the income when we spoke about the education and the job system. So now it's not only difficult to get a good education, but also to get a good job, and now also a good place that you can call home. So as you can see, these are just three categories, but it just rolls over into all the other parts that actually makes your life a good existence. When we go and look at media and representation, like I said, you are in a country which is majority white. So you will not see a lot of black representation on television, in the newspapers, in the billboards. All the ways they advertise, you will see white people everywhere. So we already know that if you are young and you have a role model that looks like you, where you can see that that person achieved something great, you will also be inspired to do great things. So if you don't have any role models, then what now? Like, where is the inspiration coming from? And when we did see black people in the media, a lot of the times it was portrayed very negatively. The way they represented Africa, for instance, was very negatively. The only time you would hear something about Africa on television was when there was war and there was dictatorship and people who were killed, or when there was being talked about slavery, about being, less than and being treated horribly, or it was about people starving and not having any food. You don't see good stories about people who look like you, only bad stories about people who look like you. So again, where is the inspiration? It's not there. And it's not a coincidence that it's not there. Like I said, the system is not designed for us. I'm not here to be like, oh, but I am here to tell you what it's like growing up in a country in the West. Our bodies are different. There are things that are the same, but also a lot of things that are different. So it means that certain conditions and illnesses will not show up in the same way in our body as it does in white people. But if you have people in healthcare who are not trained, then how are we being helped as black people? Because nobody has knowledge about our body and what works for us. There will be a lot of mental issues as well, being in this fight or flight mode all the time since you were little until up to you are an adult, just trying to prove yourself and trying to be the best and trying to work double as hard to get all the good things in life, and not seeing anyone who looks like you represent you, seeing all the suffering that you people go through in the media. And it's just like you get so tired of it, mentally tired. And that is just, a little bit of the outside, but you also have to deal with people at work who make nasty comments, people at school who make nasty comments, people who are uneducated about black people and just say ignorant things, and just so tired is what you become of it. So you can say that this is reason number one why we African descendants would like to come back to Africa, because we think that if we go to our own people, we will not experience this exclusion. So you can say that this place where we were born, even though we speak the language, know everything about the country, have all the documents, it does not feel like home. We have been here for generations, and we have this feeling like it's time to go home, bring our whole family, and just go and create our new home in our old home. Then it comes to opportunities. So we also see a lot of opportunities in Africa. That is the second reason why we want to return. because one of the benefits actually from being in Europe, European countries, or America is that we have seen different ways of building a country. So when we come to Africa, we see some things that are very well organized, but we also see things that are organized better back in Europe. So then we actually see very easily the opportunities in that. We see some problems where we already know the solution for because we have seen that in our own country growing up. So then it's easy for us to think, hey, wait, if I come to Africa, I can actually help build that thing here that they already have there, which we already know is going to be successful. So we obviously want to come home and also help the community and help the country be better. So that's another thing why we want to come back, because we can actually bring the knowledge that we gained from being away. And oftentimes Africans themselves don't see these opportunities, which makes sense because it's like literally we saw a glimpse of the future, just a different type of vision. So what we want is actually to blend the best of both worlds, because we also see things that Europe is lacking, and we do see that in Africa. So we actually tend to create two worlds, let them come together and create the perfect thing. That is what in our mind is the best thing to do. Like if it's actually the best thing to do, we can actually come together and put our minds together and our visions together and create something that is beautiful. We hear stories from home. We are in, well, I'm in the Netherlands. Some people are in Spain, the UK, Canada, the US. And we hear stories from home. People who are not happy, people who are suffering, people who are complaining. And we actually have solutions to these things. And for us, it feels more meaningful to build in Africa than built in the West. So we want to come back. We want to use the resources and we want to do great things together. So our that's our input. That's what we think. I think in real life it doesn't always go how we plan to, because we need collaboration from both sides. And to have this good collaboration, we need to be open-minded and non-judgmental, and take into account that even though we are the same people, we do have other ways of thinking. The third reason why we want to come back to Africa is because of the family and community sense. For us being born in Europe, we have been very secluded. It is a place that promotes individualism. It promotes doing things for you instead of doing things together. And it is inside of us. It wasn't inherently inside of us because we are also Africans. So when we go back to the generations and our ancestors, they weren't like this. But we have become like this just by being so long there, and um, having the energy around us and the systems around us. We also do as they do. So we have become very selfish. And when I'm in Africa, I see how selfless people are. And we enjoy it. Like, we love it when Africans smile to us and ask us where we are from and offer us food and take us and show us their family. And when we have issues, they come and they help us, or they call other people who can help us. We love that because we are not used to that. And that's also why we keep coming back to Africa as vacation, because we are treated so gracefully and so royally. And we don't get to experience that in Europe. So if you are a good person, you will feel a spark that's being transferred, and then it comes inside of you, and you also want to be like that. You also want to be warm and welcome and giving and selfless. And that's also why we want to come back, to experience that, and also to feel what it's like to raise our family in an environment like that. And see our children grow up with these values like that. So that's another reason why we want to come back. We don't want to be alone anymore. We don't want to be doing things for us anymore. We want to be in a group and do things as a group and become stronger. The fourth reason why we want to come back to Africa is because we want a better quality of life. Because Africa is a continent full of abundance. That's also why Europeans are in Africa for generations, because they want to have the resources. It's a very rich land. There's just a lot there. Of course, if you are suffering there and you don't have enough financial means, you will not look at that because it's not the first thing that's important to you. We also should understand that wherever we are born and whatever place we know best is usually a place that after some time we don't want to be there anymore, because life is about change and growth. So if you have spent enough time there and have had enough lessons there, everybody wants to leave. You want to see something new. So it is extremely logical that people from Africa want to go to Europe. It is extremely logical that people from Europe want to go to Africa. It's just nature. We want to expand and we want to grow. We shouldn't judge each other on it. As long as you actually know that it is coming from you, like you want to do that for your own expansion and not necessarily because of the survival mode. Go wherever your soul needs to go. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I hope you get a more clear picture about why we want to come to Africa, and let it all be smooth. Let it all be led by God. If you want to travel to Africa, but you don't know where, I truly recommend going to Gambia, because it is such a beautiful country to get the feel of what Africa is really like. I have a video here for you that talks about why everyone is suddenly traveling to Gambia. Go watch it here, and I see you in the next one. Stay high. Bye.